Last week, maybe you spent some time thinking about the priest and the Levite and the Samaritan and the person who'd been robbed on the road to Jericho. What happened to that man on the road to Jericho is he became broken. It reminds me of a song by Evie Turnquist, and several other people have sang it, about give them all to Jesus. Are you tired of chasing pretty rainbows? Are you tired of spinning round and round? Wrap up all the shattered dreams of your life and at the feet of Jesus lay them down. It's one of those ideas that he turns our sorrow into joy. And so in the light and spirit of the word that was shared today, I'm going to use Colossians chapter 1 and really verse 17 as the text for the message. It says, "He is before all things, and in him all things hold together." And so I brought some stuff that holds things together. Some Scotch tape, and something I used a lot over the years is some wood glue. And we're going to talk about another biblical text. Well, it's not really a biblical text until I put the spin on it, that maybe some of the children know really, really well. See, if we're all broken, and we have broken dreams and shattered hearts, and we are wounded, we are a lot like Humpty Dumpty, right? You guys know that little rhyme? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, and Humpty Dumpty called in all the king's horses and all the king's men, and what happens? It leaves you in despair, right? They couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. We live in a pretty broken world, do we not? A lot of us, if we admit the reality, is we are a lot like Humpty Dumpty, and we've tried this, and we've tried this. We've called in the king's horses, might and strength. We might even have called to mind Psalm 20, verse 7 says that some trust in horses, some trust in chariots, but we will trust in the name of the Lord our God. And we may have understood that strength is not necessarily the way we get whole. So we've gone to doctors and lawyers and helpers of all kinds to try to put our brokenness back together again. And we're still broken beyond repair. And that's how Humpty Dumpty ends, right? But have you ever thought that perhaps there should be another verse to Humpty Dumpty? And I don't know how it would be penned. I would need your help, maybe in your creative moments on a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Saturday. You could figure out how we might call upon the king to help put Humpty Dumpty back together again. See, that's the remaining piece. We've tried the horses' strength and might and power, and we've tried the wisdom and the medicine and all the help that we could muster from the king's men. But did anyone ever think to ask the king for help? For years I've left Humpty Dumpty broken. And now I want you to entertain the idea that this passage from Colossians chapter 1, verse 17, it says that Jesus is before all things, and in him all things hold together. To consider that in our lives of a lot of brokenness, and every one of us has it. You can watch television, you can experience it in your own journey, broken. It says here that Jesus holds everything together. Everything. My broken relationships, my broken body, my broken dreams of things about how I would have written this story if I had been in charge. Can I turn those things over and trust them to Jesus? It says he holds everything together. Everything. He created the universe. He holds it together. I don't know about your brokenness, but I know about mine. And it's a long list of broken things, broken dreams, broken hopes, broken relationships. I have behind me a lot of fractures. Broken bones, I forgot that one. I've done that a time or two as well. Do you guys have that same kind of experience? You know, daily I'm preparing to meet with people every day who have broken dreams. They got a diagnosis that was not on their radar. Or they were just doing their usual thing and had a collision, and their broken body now comes to the emergency room for help. I often will get those broken relationships when life gets really, really hard. And somebody says, oh, but we broke off this relationship and this connection a long time ago, and this was done to me, and I still hurt, and I will hold that against. How do you reconcile those things with Colossians 1:17, where it says Jesus holds everything together? Tape doesn't work, glue doesn't work. But here's what I do know that works. We have this record and this understanding that Jesus on the cross of Calvary paid the price for our sin and washes us clean and, if you will, makes us whole by the blood of the cross. See, we spend all of our lives trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Jesus has already done it. He holds our brokenness and keeps it together. Think about the things that we've read today in Colossians chapter 1. It says, Jesus is the creator, so he's the glue. He keeps us on task and on purpose. When we have a come apart, he keeps us focused. Jesus makes us whole. And here's how he does it. He's the image of the invisible God. Hebrews, the writer says that he is the exact representation of the Father. Now, I have a piece of paper that I keep in my wallet. It's a Xerox paper that's the same size as a dollar bill. And it is absolutely worthless. Paper, I could go to the store and they will laugh at me when I try to use it as currency. But right next to it, I might have a dollar bill or a $20 bill or a $50 bill. And I could exchange that one for some things. Maybe a meal, a little bit of gas. You know why? It's because of the image that's impressed upon that piece of paper. The one that's empty, worthless. But the image of Jesus being God in us, we have value because of who lives here. Jesus is preeminent. He's before all things. I've already told you how he holds everything together. He's the head of the body, the church. He's the one who's made peace with God through the reconciliation that occurs through his blood. And that peace is multidimensional. We have peace with God because of what Jesus did on the cross. We have peace with one another when we learn to put in practice what Jesus came to do to reconcile us to one another. And the most difficult one for many of us is that peace with myself. Jesus came to bring peace and help hold us together by the blood of his cross. All around us, I think there are people who are searching for that same peace. They desperately need to find something that will hold their life together. You know what? We have the answer. Jesus. He holds all things together. He gives us peace with other people. He gives us peace within ourselves. And most of all, he gives us peace with God. Jesus has provided us a means to peace. So let's hold on to Jesus as tightly as he holds on to us.